everybody, it's Karen from the Westport River Watershed Alliance to give you a tour of the River Center. Haven't been here before. We opened it in October. We have 3 aquariums that each have different kinds of salinity, which means how much salt is in each aquarium, so that we can keep creatures from all over the watershed. So this first aquarium over here is the least saltiest of the aquariums. It has conditions that are more closely tied to creatures that would be found here near the River Center, which is at the head of Westport. And the first creature that's in here is called a sheep's head minnow. Kind of small, it's moving around fast. This aquarium also has mummy chugs, which are very common, and you see them a lot when you're out catching creatures. And then here we have 2 more sheep's head minnow. We also have an American eel in this aquarium, but he hides in the rocks sometimes, so we might not quite see him. This one we weren't sure what it was. It's so small, we're going to wait till it gets a little bit bigger. The next aquarium is set up with a little bit more salt, so the salinity is higher. And the creatures that you find in this aquarium are closer to the creatures you would find in the Westport Harbor. So the first one over here is the black sea bass, and he's gotten quite big. They can actually change their colors to blend in with their surroundings. The next one's called a tautog. It's right at the top next to the seaweed feeder. And these have flat teeth because they like to eat crabs that they can find. There are some crabs in here. In the very corner there is a spider crab, which I'm not sure if we can see. And then in this aquarium over here we have a pufferfish, northern puffer. And we do find these in the river quite often. We catch them right over at Baby Beach if you've been over there before. So people are always surprised that we do have our own kind of pufferfish that live in the Westport River. The last tank we have over here is more like the conditions you would find in the open ocean. And in this aquarium we have seahorses. We have about 6 seahorses, and they can actually change the colors that they have to help them camouflage into the background. They also do a little dance when they are looking for a female, so that she'll put her eggs inside the male's pouch. So it looks like this one's kind of trying to do his little dance. This aquarium also has a whelk, which is a kind of a sea snail. The foot is right now stuck onto the aquarium glass, so you can see the foot out. You can also see where the mouth is on the whelk. See if we can get a sideways view of the shell. And we're always changing things that are in the aquarium as we catch things. We'll be moving things around, so there'll be different creatures that come in and out of each one of the aquariums. So the next thing I want to show you is our projection microscope. You can put different things under the lens, and then it projects it up onto a TV so that everyone can see it. Right now I actually have some brine shrimp that we hatched to feed the seahorses. Oh, there's an egg right there. And there might be a brine shrimp hatching out of the egg. You can kind of see it. Alright, we're going to move on over this way. We have an aquarium that has salamander, yellow spotted salamander in it. Sometimes if we peek inside There he is, hiding out. And we have a tadpole swimming around in here. I'm just keeping in, doing some videos for kids for a little while. Then we have our carpet where we sometimes do a story time for kids. And we have puppets and puzzles, and people can have some time doing free play. Here we have the puzzles. And the other thing is we have these magnifiers where you can see different things. It kind of makes it a little bigger and easier to see. The spider. So those are kind of fun. Also on the floor we had a local artist, Barbara Healy, paint the watershed so you can kind of get an idea of how big the watershed is and all the streams that contribute to the Westport River. And you can find where you live. We have a star right here for where the Watershed Alliance is, if you can see that. And it goes all the way up to the upper part of the watershed where Fall River is. And then over this way we have our augmented reality sand table that projects on white sand so you can see how a watershed works. You can move the sand around and make different features, like a really big hill, and it changes the color so that you know that the elevation is higher. Then you can make it rain on the top of your hill, so you can see how the water drains just by moving your hand like this. You can also change it so that water is going through the land. So you can try to see if that spot filled up with water with a big, huge rainstorm, how would it look when it was draining. You can also try to make a wave and see how much of the water would hit the sides. You can make lava on the land. Watch how it flows down. I have it set up so you can see ice, so they've got kind of a frozen look when you put your hand to cause the ice to go into the water, which is pretty cool. We have a display table that we'll be putting out and changing the display on it every few months. And this one just happens to be about plankton. And you have a matching activity so you can learn a little bit about the different types of plankton, how some of them start off as adults and become something else. That one's a crab, becomes a crab. This one's a barnacle, which is pretty cool. And then there's a little spot where you can make your own plankton with some clay and pipe cleaners. So we'll be changing this up and putting new display ideas every few months. So if you have a chance to come and see the River Center more than once, then you'll have some new displays going on. Thank you for joining us on a tour of the River Center. I hope you get to see lots of the different things that are here, and we'll have a chance to come by and visit us in person someday.